Welcome to this short training, 4 levels of success, which are top tips for masterful online room monitoring. This is perfect for anybody who's going to be a room monitor or host for an online webinar, class, or conference presentation. I am Elisa Jansen-Jones. I'm the Senior Manager of Online Learning for ConSelmer. I'm also an experienced K-8 music educator, community band director. I'm an author. I have a podcast, the Music Ed Mentor podcast. I'm a columnist for School Band and Orchestra magazine. I'm a big trail enthusiast, as you can see in my beautiful profile picture here. I also happen to have an MBA, and I'm currently working on my doctorate in instructional design, which is all about online learning. But most importantly, I have run many online conferences, which means that I have been a room monitor or host for more than 500 individual sessions in 2020 alone. So let's jump right in to the 4 levels of room monitoring. Level 1 is to mitigate, and that means you're going to set expectations for what the attendees can expect in the session. By letting them know what to expect and when to comment and how to behave, you're actually going to mitigate a lot of the risk that might be involved in any sort of online live presentation. This could look like just, telling everybody to maximize their internet connection, close out their browser windows, be focused and attentive, use this time for themselves, or even when the presenter might be doing a question and answer period. Let them know what's to be expected in the chat, if they should be active or if they should listen quietly. Whatever it happens to be for your particular setting or organizational needs, set those expectations at the beginning to set up for success. Make sure that if you're using a platform like Zoom, I highly recommend you keep cameras and microphones off until they are necessary as part of the presentation. This should be a preset that you have set up in your Zoom or other online streaming account. If you're using a webinar system, like we do here at ConSelmer, you don't need to worry about this because your attendees won't be seen on camera, only your presenters. Number 2 is to monitor the situation. I recommend keeping a document open on your desktop, just a notepad, where you can collect questions using the simple copy and paste method. This can be particularly helpful if you're helping field the questions for the presenter. Sometimes if there's a lot of people in the session, those questions might get pushed down into the chat as the attendees are being interactive. Having the questions on a separate document means that they can be easily addressed with the presenter. It's also helpful to have those questions ready to send to the presenter afterward so that they have that data for their further research and presentation needs. If you can, respond to the obvious questions that will be asked, like, is this session being recorded? Will I receive a PED certificate? These types of common questions should have a response ready to go, and that's something that you can do so that it doesn't detract from the session or prevent the presenter from being focused on what they should be doing, which is delivering amazing content. Number 3 is to support the presenter. One of the most useful ways that you can do this is to drop URL links into the chat as they are necessary. So for example, if the presenter is a well-known composer or author, they probably have their own web page or online portfolio. Having that URL ready to drop into the chat can be very helpful and supportive of the presenter. Other links that you might want to have ready are to the conference site or the webinar registration or any additional information about the event itself. You'll also want to be prepared to search for things like a book that they might mention in their presentation, or YouTube videos, podcasts. Additional resources are often mentioned in passing, but it's information that the attendees absolutely will want to have. If you can pull those fastest and put them in the chat, it will mitigate any of the chat being logged up by a lot of people sharing the exact same link. So be prepared to support in that way. It's also helpful to have a series of questions prepared so that if there is a question and answer period as part of that particular session, that you can start to engage the attendees by having those prepared questions ready ahead of time. Sometimes it takes people a little bit of time to warm up, to spark their curiosity as they're processing the information that they were just provided. Having an opportunity to sort of prime their question and answer pump is very helpful to a successful presentation. Number 4, respond. If there are technical issues, seek for additional help. Have the event organizer's tech support person with their number on your phone so that you can get to them very quickly. Know what the plan of attack is or the plan of support for if there are any sort of technical issues at hand. You'll also want to take notes of things that are out of the ordinary, both good and bad. This is particularly helpful for the presenters to hear the positive feedback from their session, but also any challenging feedback. Any feedback at all can help with potential growth of that presenter, the session, and the conference at large. This is easily done by copy and pasting or taking screenshots. Now that also includes if there's any kind of negativity happening, any discrepancies, any sort of conflicts that happen in the chat. Passing those along to the event manager or the event host can be extremely powerful data for if they are contacted outside of the conference for something that happened inside of it. Don't be afraid to eject people or remove them from the meeting if they're being harassful, if they're harassing people, if they're being trolls, if they're being negative, or if they share anything in the chat that's inappropriate or irrelevant. And that's kind of it. Those are your 4 tiered steps to awesome room monitoring and room hosting. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at ejones@conselmer.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Elisa C. Jones. And if you're international, you can find me on the WhatsApp app as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any other questions at all. And I sure hope you enjoy your time being a room monitor. It is one of the funnest things that I get to do in this career, and it is such a privilege to get to support you and to support all of our myriad of presenters as they support music educators and arts educators around the globe. Have a wonderful rest of your day.